Don't open it, Alex said as soon as he saw the box. Why not? Julia asked, confused. It's from your parents. They called yesterday, said they sent something. Look closely, he nodded toward the box. See it? She stepped closer. The box was plain, nothing special about it, no ribbon, no greeting card. Just a white shipping label with her name, address, and AP. Oh, box in Chicago. Not her parents' street. Not their city. Not even their state. What is this? She whispered. Exactly. Alex came closer and lightly touched the corner of the box. Right here. See that mark? That font? I've seen it before. On your sister's. Julia went cold. For a moment, there was silence, just the faint clinking of spoons in the dishwasher and the noise of traffic outside. You think it's not from them? I think it is, Alex said flatly. But it's not a gift. Julia had never liked birthdays. Since childhood, they'd always meant awkwardness, forced greetings, and perfunctory messages from her parents. No balloons, no cake with her name on it, no "we're proud of you." Maybe once or twice a cake from Grandma. But Grandma was long gone. Alex knew Julia didn't expect gifts. That's why, every morning on June 7th, he just bought her a chocolate bar and said, "Happy birthday, my grown woman." They'd both laugh, he'd make her pancakes, and that was it. It was enough. But this year was different. The day before, she got a call from her mother, Sandra Wilson. Her voice was unusually sweet. "Julia, sweetheart, we sent you a little surprise. It should arrive right on time." "Thanks," Julia replied cautiously. "What is it exactly?" "Oh, nothing special. Just a token of love. We love you, you know. You are our little girl." Little girl. In all her 34 years, her mother had never said that. "Thanks," Julia murmured again, hanging up. "Something wrong?" Alex asked. "I don't know. It was too nice." Now the box sat on the kitchen table like a landmine. Julia stared at it, barely breathing. Alex stood in silence, arms crossed tensely. Suddenly, the phone rang. The screen lit up. "Mom." "Don't answer it," Alex said. "I will." On speaker. Julia swiped the screen and put the call on speaker. "Julia, sweetheart, did it arrive?" Sandra Wilson's voice chirped. "Yes, it did." "And? Did you open it?" Julia looked at Alex. He shook his head. "Yes, I opened it," she lied. "It's very nice, thank you. We just wanted you to know how much we love you. You're so strong, so smart. Don't ever forget that." Her voice was overly tender, almost theatrical. Julia hung up. "What was that?" she whispered. "They never talk like that." "Because they're lying," Alex said quietly. "They always do that when they're about to pull something nasty." Julia sat down, nausea creeping up her throat. She couldn't look at the box anymore. But removing it would mean pretending everything was fine. Half an hour passed. Then came a knock at the door. Not the doorbell, a knock. Firm, deliberate, not like a neighbor or a courier. Alex opened the door. Two people stood there, a man and a woman in uniform. "Julia Harris?" one of them asked. "Yes. We received a report about a suspicious package delivered to this address. May we come in and ask you a few questions?" Julia stepped aside to let them in. "There," she said, pointing at the box. "That's it." The officers looked at the package like it might explode. One of them put on gloves and pulled out a utility knife. "Did you open the box?" "No." "Are you certain the sender is a relative?" "My mom said it was from them." "Want me to play the message?" She played the audio. Sandra Wilson's voice filled the kitchen. "We just wanted you to know how much we love you." The officer nodded. "We'll check what's inside." They opened the box cautiously. Paper, bubble wrap, neatly arranged items, cold, impersonal. Decorative figurines and a certificate of authenticity. One officer scanned a QR code on the bottom of one of the figurines. "Do you know what this is?" he asked. "Well, it looks like decor. Maybe art?" They exchanged glances. "This item is part of an ongoing investigation into illegal shipments and counterfeits. We need to confiscate it. You're not being charged with anything right now, but it's considered evidence." Julia nodded silently. "Of course. Take it." Alex walked them to the door. Julia stayed seated. The box was gone now, but its absence felt just as heavy as its presence, like something hollow had been left behind, or a scar. She looked at her husband. "They really thought I'd just open it." "They honestly did," he nodded. "I almost did, Alex. I mean it." "But you didn't," he said, pouring her some tea. "You did everything right." After the police left, the apartment felt even quieter. No box, no strangers, no fake gifts, just tea, the smell of pancakes, and the knot of tension pulsing in her chest. You think this has something to do with Anne? Julia finally asked. Alex didn't answer right away. He turned to the window and watched a drop of water slide down the glass, leaving a trail behind. I don't think. I'm sure. Anne, her younger sister, 3 years younger but felt like she floated through life with 1,000 pounds less weight. If Julia had always been the responsible one, the reliable one, the serious one, and was soft, fragile, and artistic. She never excelled in school, but she cried beautifully. Never apologized, but could pout her lips just right to make their mom feel sorry. She's still a child, Sandra Wilson would say when and was 28. Not everyone's like you. She's got her own sensitive nature. You've always been the strong one, and needs to be handled gently. It was a mantra, repeated with every argument, every lie. Julia remembered one incident. She was 8. A green vase stood in the hallway, hideous and heavy. A family heirloom, supposedly worth maybe $100 at most, and had knocked it over and smashed it. When their mom came in and whimpered, pointed at Julia, and whispered, it was her. No hesitation, no guilt, just threw her under the bus. But you're the older one, you should have been watching her, their mom sighed. Go to your room. No dinner. Julia didn't cry, just watched and get a bowl of ice cream. It only got worse with age. And wore her clothes, ruined them, lost them, but it was always an accident. One time, she took Julia's favorite sweater, the one that still smelled like their grandmother, the only person who'd ever truly loved her, and wore it to art class and returned it with a paint stain. You never said it meant anything to you, and shrugged. Why did you even take it? I thought it was just a regular sweater. It was a gift from Grandma. Why are you yelling? And whimpered. I'm already going through a lot. The result? Photos of coffee cups at sunset, quotes about karma and the universe. Julia just watched in silence. No judgment, no laughter, just distance. About a year ago, and suddenly decided she wanted to start a business. She called their mom. Their mom called Julia. Sweetheart, and wants to set up an account, but she needs a stable address. And you're so reliable, so responsible, we thought maybe you could. No, Julia said immediately. I'm not comfortable with that. Well, you know she's between apartments right now. No. Her mom got offended, and didn't say a word, just went silent. A few weeks later, no holiday greetings came, and their dad sent a passive-aggressive email that read, it's a shame you don't support family projects. We always knew you were the selfish one. You think they used my address anyway? Julia asked. Alex sat down next to her. I think they used everything, old document copies, access to your signatures, maybe even old forms. But why send the box to me? So it wouldn't go to their place. Not to Anne's either. So if anything blew up, it'd be on you. Julia could feel anger rising inside her. Not fear. Not hurt. Pure anger. At her parents, who only called her strong when they needed someone to clean up someone else's mess. At Anne, who had grown up but never grown out of being the child who broke things and cried. And at herself for still hoping, deep down, that maybe this time they were trying to do something kind. They don't love me, Julia said. They use you, Alex corrected her. That night, when Julia went to bed, she didn't cry. But she couldn't sleep either. She dreamt she was walking down a hallway again, shards of the vase on the floor. And with her lips pressed tight. Mom's tired voice again, but you're the older one. You should have known better. The next morning, Alex poured her coffee. We need to figure out what to do next. If they used your personal info, this is serious. Yeah, Julia nodded. This time, I won't stay quiet. On the third day after the police visit, Julia got a call. The number was unfamiliar. Julia Harris? A polite male voice said. This is Senior Investigator Romanoff. I'm handling a case involving illegal activity on online platforms. We have reason to believe your name and address were used as a legal front. May I ask you a few questions? Yes, of course. Julia turned on her voice recorder, not to trap anyone, just as a precaution. In her family, too many precautions had turned out to be necessary. Have you ever registered a business under your name involving the sale of artwork? Julia let out a dry laugh. I tried selling a bookshelf on eBay once, not sure if that counts as a business. Silence. No chuckle. No sympathy. We found a legal entity registered under your name, Art Design 73. Also, there's an email and a business account linked to foreign imports. We have a copy of a digital signature. That's not my signature, Julia snapped. I've never had a digital signature. I barely use online banking. Can you provide written confirmation? Absolutely. I'll send everything: passport, samples of my real signature, even my old school notebooks if you need them. They agreed that she would send a signed statement and certified copies of her documents. Romanoff forwarded her the supposed digital signature. It looked familiar, like someone had glanced at the back of an old postcard and tried to imitate it. Do you have any idea who might have done this? Yes, Julia said. My sister Anne. Possibly with help from our parents. They had access to my documents back in college. I trusted them then. After the call, Julia didn't feel fear, just a cold, hollow emptiness. Her identity had been stolen. Her name was on someone else's paperwork. Her signature in a criminal file. And all of it linked to people whose faces she'd known since birth. You could almost picture how it had all played out. And the visionary, always chasing some new idea with zero follow-through. Her father, the I stay out of women's business type. Her mother, but we're family. Look what you've done now, everything's ruined. The next day, Romanoff called again. We've done a deeper digital trace. All online activity IP addresses, login history, links to devices registered to Anne. We've confirmed shipments from China and Turkey processed through online platforms. All listed under your name. You were marked as a silent partner. I was just a silent victim, Julia muttered. We're moving forward with legal action, and will likely face charges for multiple counts of fraud, forgery, and illegal business operations. Your parents are being named as accomplices. Julia submitted her official statement. It included her handwriting, real signature, the date, and one line at the bottom, _ I did not authorize anyone to use my personal information or signature. I was not involved. I am the victim, not the accomplice. Then came silence. Romanoff didn't call again. No one wrote. The apartment filled with a strange stillness, as if someone had hit pause on her life. Julia was afraid the case would be buried, or worse, that this was just the beginning. Both were terrifying. Alex held her hand, silently. He didn't say, _ it'll all be okay. _ he just stayed beside her, and that was enough. A month later, things started moving, and received a court summons. So did their parents. Investigator Romanoff called back. I wanted to inform you your sister has officially been charged with fraud and forgery under Articles 159 and 170. Your parents are being charged under Article 33 as accomplices. Did she confess? No. She's still claiming she didn't know, thought it was allowed. And my parents? They said they trusted their daughter but admitted they knew a third-party address was being used. Their lawyers showed up, but they clearly didn't expect it to go this far. Julia didn't go to the first hearing. Alex went alone. He came back with a faint smile. She cried, wore a beige cardigan. Your mom sat next to her, held her hand. The lawyer paced in circles. The judge listened like he had headphones and calm, emotionless. But you know what's the most interesting part? What? When the judge brought up your name, not one of them apologized. Not a single word. Just silence. Like you were just an inconvenience. Julia nodded. I'm not the inconvenience. I'm their consequence. After the trial, everything went quiet again, and was sentenced to 2 years of probation, a hefty fine, and a 10-year ban from any business activity. Her Instagram vanished. No more photos of coffee cups and sunsets, just silence. No explanations. No excuses. Sandra Wilson and Robert Harris received suspended sentences and fines. A tiny notice appeared in a local newspaper, _ Chicago couple found guilty of aiding financial fraud, _ no names mentioned. But Julia knew it was about them. And though the case was closed, the real ending came a few weeks later. She got a message from an unknown number. _ Julia, we need to talk. Without Ann. Just us and Dad. Please don't ignore this. They arranged to meet at a cafe across from the courthouse. The irony wasn't lost on Julia. She arrived late on purpose. They were already seated, her mother, looking tense, and her father, absent-mindedly spinning his coffee cup. You look good, her mother started. I sleep. And I don't lie. Turns out, that does wonders for your appearance. Pause. We didn't know and would take it that far, her mother said gently. But you knew she was using my information, Julia cut in. You didn't stop her. Didn't warn me. Didn't apologize. We thought it was temporary. She told us you gave her permission. She always says something, Julia interrupted. And you always listen. Robert Harris cleared his throat and spoke. We thought you'd be fine. You don't have kids. You're stronger. You'd survive. And there it was. The heart of it all, _ you'd survive. _ because she didn't have kids. Because she didn't cry on the phone. Because they could use her, break her, forget her, and she wouldn't collapse. She wasn't in. So I'm disposable? Julia asked coldly. You're twisting everything, her mother snapped. That's not what we meant. That's exactly what you meant. And you know what stings the most? You didn't come here because you're sorry. You came because you have no one left. Silence. Are you really planning to cut us off forever? Robert asked quietly. We're your parents. We. No, Julia interrupted. Your biological donors. Parents are the ones who protect you, not the ones who hide behind the excuse that you're strong. She stood up. I've paid too high a price for being the strong one. I'm done. That night, she went home and blocked both of them. Deleted their numbers, archived their emails, erased every emergency contact where their names appeared. All that was left was silence. Are you sure? Alex asked. Yes. The next morning, he handed her a cup of coffee, and for the first time in forever, the sunlight in the kitchen felt real. It didn't hide betrayal, passive aggression, or manipulation. It just shone. She let go. No tears. No drama. She simply stepped out of the cycle where the one who doesn't cry is always to blame. The one who stays quiet. The one who always endures. A month passed. Then another. Julia kept expecting something to resurface, another letter, another call, some unexpected twist. But nothing came. For the first time in years, there was real quiet. She kept working, went on weekend walks with Alex, baked bread in the evenings, learned to knit. Everything seemed fine. And yet, every time her phone rang from an unknown number, her heart still skipped a beat. One morning over breakfast, Alex placed a bowl of oatmeal in front of her and said, a letter came. From the court. They sent a copy of the case files. Want to see it? Julia nodded, though she wasn't sure. She held the envelope like it was going to explode but opened it. Inside was a summary. And guilty on all counts. Sandra Wilson and Robert Harris had confessed and taken a plea deal. Fines issued. Part of their property seized. Every document filed in Julia's name was declared invalid. Her name was removed from all business registries. Julia closed the folder and exhaled. It should have felt like closure, but instead, it felt empty. A few days later, the doorbell rang. Julia flinched. Alex was at work. A courier stood at the door. Delivery for you. Signature required. From who? No name. Just says New York. Business District. Sign here. She signed carefully, like her hand wasn't her own, afraid the paper might catch fire. The courier left. The box remained. Another box. This one small, neat, with no markings. Julia hesitated, stared at it for a long time, then slowly cut the tape. Inside was a notebook. On the first page, _ I'm sorry. I didn't know what else to do. _ nothing else. No name. No date. Just a familiar handwriting. Anne's. Julia closed the notebook. Too late, she said out loud. You knew. You just thought I wouldn't dare. That I'd stay quiet again. She didn't throw the notebook away. Just tucked it deep into the farthest drawer. Because even a poisoned letter leaves behind paper, but that doesn't mean you have to read it again. A week later, Julia submitted paperwork to update her emergency contacts in banks, clinics, apps. Under closest relative, she wrote, Alex. Husband. The only one. One Sunday, she and Alex went for a walk in the park. A warm breeze blew, and white petals drifted down from a tree above their bench. So? He asked. Is it over? Julia looked up at the sky, squinting. Yeah, it is. I'm done. I'm not waiting on anyone anymore. When they came home, the answering machine blinked with one missed call. Julia pressed play. Julia, it's Dad. Just, if you ever want to talk, we'll be here. We were wrong. We really didn't think you would. Well, click. End of message. Julia erased it. They still don't get it, she said. They think I'm just upset, but I've simply stopped letting them into my life. And in that life now, there was no place for gifts or manipulation. No _ I'm sorry, I didn't know. Title, a package from my parents arrived on my birthday. My husband looked at it and said, don't open it. Description, a box on the doorstep on a birthday. For the first time in years, the mother speaks too sweetly. The husband advises not to open it. He's seen that kind of marking before. When the police arrive, it turns out the gift was a trap. But that's only the beginning. Behind the pretty packaging lies a chain of betrayals going back to childhood. A stolen identity, forged documents, and a family that always knew who could be sacrificed. A story about learning to say no to those who take your love for granted. Preview, a package from my parents arrived on my birthday. My husband looked at it and said, "Don't open it." Don't you see? I looked closer and went cold. Half an hour later, the police were at the door.